going on in Gauteng. I'm taking a deep breath before I ask you these questions because honestly, I don't know how to make much sense of it. COPE had a press conference this morning. Okay. What did they say?
Which part of COPE?
Well, exactly.
Had this press conference? Are they official members of COPE? Because if you ask Willie Madisha and Dennis Blom, the national office bearers, they'll tell you those people aren't legitimate members of COPE. You ask them. That's the Gauteng
who had the presser.
Who had the presser earlier this morning, talking, of course, on the controversial resignation of the Tshwane mayor, Dr. Makwarela. They say, in fact, they alerted the national office bearers of COPE way back in November 2021 already about the insolvency of Makwarela. He himself, in the vetting process, there are those questions that detail if you are insolvent. He ticked it as actually, yes, I am insolvent. They say they took it forward. It wasn't only him. We heard that even national office, but the councillors around Johannesburg.
These are COPE councillors or all parties?
COPE councillors.
Because it's the first responsibility of the party to do that vetting, right?
A lot of them aren't thoroughly vetted. There is a letter that was sent out to the national office bearers suggesting that corners were cut. Actually, I want to read just a bit of it, Sally, if you allow me to. It says, the party members and leadership have neglected proper and due compliance with the party's constitution and its provisions in respect of the appointment of mayoral candidates for the various municipalities, including Johannesburg, Tshwane and Ekurhuleni. In this regard, and to be more specific, such appointments are irregular and stand to be set aside. That's on the 25th of November, back in 2021 already. Remember, Willie Madisha and Dennis Blom said they had no idea.
So this press conference was like, we told you so.
Yeah, basically saying that we have it on record. Let's take a listen to Tom Mofokeng, the chair.
We today can see that these people are actually rogue members of the party. They do as they wish and all those things. So Makwarela was protected to go through that process. And as a result, all the members were also not vetted in a proper way. There are people that didn't even fill in the forms that are actually sitting in councils up to this day.
So there we have the Gauteng chair of COPE saying that people like Dr. Makwarela were rogue members of COPE. You then went to two of the well-known faces of COPE, which is Dennis Blom and Willie Madisha, and asked for their comment on that press conference. And I will never in my life forget the phrase they used to describe that. They said that was a spaza press conference. Tell me about the conversation you had with them.
That brings in all the confusion. You don't know who's legitimate and who's not. But of course, this is supposed to be the deputy president of COPE nationally, as well as the national spokesperson of COPE. They pointed the fingers right back at Tom Mofokeng, saying that, in fact, you're the one that brought these rogue elements into the party. You introduced Dr. Makwarela to us. You introduced Colleen Makubela, the speaker in Johannesburg, some of the members that you brought in. So they also just took the blame right back to the source of it. In fact, let's take a listen to Dennis Blom.
When people are talking about that, the deputy president have just explained how the process is working. It worked from constituency, the branch, to province. From province, when national is coming in, it's only to pay for the registration. So Tom Mofokeng and David Malachi must know it is very serious what they are talking. They must give us the names. They must come public to tell the people who are these councillors. You see, there's corruption in this whole thing because now they are exposing themselves. They know about these people who were not vetted because it was their responsibility. So
there we have COPE versus COPE, and this is a situation that has been around for a while. But, Aviwe, I think what is distressing about this is that these are elected officials, first of all. People trusted them enough to vote, but they're a party with very few members, one, if not, I think one official in Tshwane is on the council, with the ability to cause such incredible confusion, disruption, in massive metros. I think we actually may have visuals right now, because what's going on in Tshwane this evening is that the council is sitting to try and elect a new speaker. And of course, the speaker is the position that Dr. Makwarela, those are the visuals of the voting, that he vacated when he was nominated to become mayor, switching allegiance to be with the EFF and ANC coalition. We know that this sitting was adjourned because it was disrupted, particularly around Nkele Molapo, and the fact that she's taking legal action because she's been dismissed from Action SA. It is an absolute mess. This is the capital city trying to elect a new speaker against this context. I know we don't have much time, but when you look at this and the destruction that is being caused and the chaos even within political parties, the chaos within coalitions, what does it say to you about the mess we're in?
It just makes me shudder to think what will happen nationally should we find ourselves in a situation where we have to have coalition government. Because since the advent of them back in 2016, when Tshwane even was lost to coalition governance, it's really been a mess, Sally, on the ground. There's been a lot of instability. You know, all this reshuffling of the mayors, you see that it's not for the benefit of the citizen on the ground, but more for the benefit of the actual politicians and where the money's going to go, for example. So it's really sad to see play out, hoping that one way or another we can have stable governance that actually cares for service delivery.
100%. Thank you so much for bringing us up to speed on what's going on in Action SA and also the real confusion in the Cope Party. Aviu Mtila. And of course, we will continue to keep an eye on that voting process in the city of Tshwane. Hopefully, we'll be able to speak to our reporter there, Pulele Tweety Jones, as the evening progresses.